who are living in a cool world. Not yours.
Shoulder boy.
Welcome back to the Sandsbury Show on Rock 106.9. Sorry, that was a little voice message you should not be hearing coming from my cell phone. Sorry about that. That was bad. 9 a.m. this morning, I'll rock the bank with you. Pass out that first $1,000 people.
On Saturday.
Okay, you and I have talked about this couple once before because they were weird and they were doing something weird and we all wanted to judge it, but they are back now. They're out of Florida, Rachel Bailey and her husband Alexander. She's 31, he's 30. And
Here she goes.
You may remember us talking about the fact that after giving birth,
I hate that.
He was obsessed with drinking her breast milk.
Yeah.
And not like, hey, a little on the wrist check test.
The times you wish you had the Crutch to the Clown voice.
Her breast, mouth locked on her body, what we will call suckling, if you will. Pulling the breast milk
and then the eyes and then
I know I've never had kids. I was a kid.
Interrupt me again, I will cut you.
I think we're going to be finding out this is where some of my problems stem from. This is what a lot of you are going to think. That's why you're a beta! Well, I'm going to tell you this, but I was not subs.
I haven't had a sub.
Apparently, when I was first born, I was allergic to milk. And so they didn't do that, and then I guess I was a formula baby, and I don't know what happens after that. Does that make you hate women? You didn't bond with women? I don't know what the TikTok diagnosis of that is. But that just wasn't my thing. And so I to this day I don't like milk. I never really got the taste of it. But she says, quote, I was breastfeeding both my son and my husband, and then one day my son was just no longer interested in my breast milk. My husband, however, he continued to be interested. I continued to feed Alexander for about 2 weeks, but it was like my body knew that my son no longer needed the milk and it was gone. I don't know if that's true or how that works. Again, like, I'm not a doctor and I don't, you know what I mean? But like, if that's true, that kind of sounds like the body's pretty smart and kind of knows what it is what you need and what you don't. He apparently misses drinking her breast milk so much that they have considered, having a fourth child so that he can get his breastfeeding experience back.
Wow.
But have said, well, wait a minute, maybe we need to find another way to bond. No, not maybe. You need to find another way to bond. It's just strange.
Not maybe.
So they're bonding over meditation now. This is what they're doing. Instead of him breastfeeding off of her, they get up each morning at 5 a.m. before the craziness of the day, they say, and they enjoy the calmness of the morning. I would agree with them here. I wake up early, even on the weekends. As a matter of fact, this last Saturday, I woke up at 5:20 in the morning. And I looked at my alarm clock. I stood straight up in bed. I was like, oh my God, I'm late. Oh my God. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not. It's Saturday. I'm allowed to go back to bed for a minute. And so like everything, but like I wake up very early, even on the weekend, and I love that. The world hasn't really started yet. Their neighbors aren't even up. It's very quiet everywhere, and I enjoy that, so I can get that. Quote, I still have people asking me every day if they can buy my breast milk. Because apparently their theory is that since he couldn't get enough of it, that maybe that they would enjoy it. She says here, I have even had people asking me if they can meet up with me so that I can breastfeed them too. Stop saying people and tell us it's loser dudes. It's not people. Women are going to be like, hey, let me feast off you. That wasn't happening. It was loser dudes who want to see boobs, who outside of National Geographic and Pornhub never have, and so they're looking to pay you so they can hang off your body. Don't try to make it sound like people were doing it so you can normalize it. That was loser dudes who were doing that. We've had a lot of requests from people asking us to make videos of ourselves breastfeeding. Okay, this isn't good. Like, just because people want something doesn't necessarily mean it's positive. You know what I watched again last night? It's called Dumb Money. And it was about the GameStop squeeze, right? In there, these two girls who are going to college, one of them says, this guy's willing to pay me a lot of money if we will like live stream him, if we'll video chat him from the bathtub. That guy wanted that. That doesn't mean it's good activity. That doesn't mean that those women should have been doing that for him for that money. Just because somebody wants something, people want cocaine, they want heroin. Is that good? It isn't. This metric of people wanted it, so it must be good. I'll take you back to the Spice Girls. People always say, well, this album, I mean, you think they suck? 20 million records? And I always say, Sublime, really? Or whoever? Insert your favorite band. Spice Girls sold more merch, sold more tickets, sold more albums, they outsold everybody. Are they good? No. Wanting something isn't the benchmark of good or virtuous or necessary. That's not a thing. She insists that breastfeeding was never a sexual thing with him. I don't know if I buy that. It might have not been for you. All right. I'm a man. I'm straight. I like having sex with women. I like looking at naked women. It would be impossible for me to have my mouth on that part of a woman and not at least be thinking about sex a little. You know how I know? It's hard for me to go get a cup of coffee in the lunchroom here, standing next to a beautiful woman and not think about sex even a little. Like, dude, I mean, come on. Like, this wasn't sexual at all? Like, I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. You're telling people that because you know it's weird. And you don't care that people think you're weird as long as the New York Post posts your story, but you don't want to be seen as this couple. You're willing to be weird for the clicks and for the attention and get everybody to hear, and in 2 months they'll have this is how you meditate properly TikTok. They'll have it. Don't worry. It's all coming. The snake oil's coming down the road. For sure it is. And they'll get you all on that. But you're worried people are going to judge you over this being a sexual thing because it's strange. It's strange. Does she honestly think all those people asking her to breastfeed off of her that wasn't a sexual thing? She's not that dumb, right? Because that's clearly what that is. Now, do I understand trying breast milk? Yes. Absolutely I do. We saw this with friends. We've seen it, but of course. It is a part of life. You were most likely breastfed as a child. It's kind of a thing. There you are. The woman you love more than anything in the world has just given birth. There's life. You have created this together. It is again, to use a phrase I've already used too many times this morning, a tie that binds. And so as she's breastfeeding your child, a little like, I guess I'm a little curious about it. Yeah, of course. That makes sense. Going to the fridge, getting a glass, putting a couple of ice cubes in it, and down in the breast milk, I think makes you a weirdo, dog. Like, it just kind of does. Also, how selfish are you that you're going to steal the kid's food, dog? I'm sitting on some Youngblood covering Kiss. Yeah. New Tour Tuesday. Apparently the Fall Guy movie, not bad enough, so they decided to trash up the soundtrack too. We'll get there. 9 a.m. this morning. All right. I ran across a piece of audio here I thought was interesting when I saw it yesterday, and I figured, you know what, let's discuss this as a plus. What attracts me to another person may not be the same thing that would do it for you. This is a weird thing because, like, you and I could both look at the same person and admit they're attractive. And yet, what I find attractive about them may be different than some of the things you think are. And then there'll probably be a couple of things we would agree on, right? But it's not just going to be, all right, nice hair, this and that. There's going to be things, right? There are things that attract people to, I'm going to say the opposite sex, but, let's try to, be nice and say there are things that attract people to the other person that they would like to spend time with, not their clothes on with.
Sun in the morning. Well,
Man, it's hard today, ain't it? Yeah, a little bit it is.
Red in the morning.
And I've always said this, I don't really know what it is. Now, I know if a woman has nice hair, I'm into that.
Saying is,
if I like the hair, I'm into it. And then the smile is going to be important for me. And then if I can't stop staring as she's walking away now,
what's
then I
that?
kind of like that.
Likely at 8:15.
I'm an ass dude. Kind of what I'm into. Boobs aren't necessarily my thing. However, if there is a nice big pair of boobs around me anywhere, I am fully aware of where they are at all times. You know what I mean? I'm like, there they are, they're right there. The boobs are right there, right? Like,
Boobs are right there.
they're not even my thing. But if they're around the area, I'm aware of where they are. Like, it is a thing. I don't know what it is about that. They are powerful, those things. For sure, nothing's crippled more empires than boobs. I mean, dude, literally, dudes just throwing their lives overboard for like, well, she was kind of hot. It happens all the time. I've said about the women I've dated, I look at them and I know they're attractive, but I don't know what about it makes me attracted to it. It's like I could list your body parts, but I don't know why I like that. I bring it up because a woman, and you're not going to be fat phobic for not wanting to date a heavyset person. Now, she does clarify and says that there's a difference between just not dating a fat person or choosing not to date them because they are fat. I don't quite know if I understand the difference, so hopefully she'll be able to make some sense of this for us. Let's take a listen to it.
If you do not date fat people because you just...
Why are we calling them fat first? Why are we doing that? Is it because you're heavy set, so you're allowed? Well, what do we call heavy set? What are we calling fat? Who fits into that camp? Why are you allowed to use that word? Are you being fat phobic right now since you're using the word? Am I playing your game right? That's how it goes, right?
If you do not date fat people because you just happen to view fatness as neutral but not be particularly attracted to it, fine. That's a preference.
Okay. All right, I guess technically you're right there. Like you're allowed to have sexual preferences.
If you don't date fat people because you think being fat means that they are gross, lazy, live an unhealthy lifestyle.
Well, just naturally not being attracted to it is essentially thinking it's gross, right? I mean, right? That's kind of what that means, no?
Fat people because you think being fat means that they are gross, lazy, live an unhealthy lifestyle.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure that being fat is you living an unhealthy lifestyle. That's not me thinking it. That's the reality of it. Right? Notice how they do that? Very sneaky. Nice try, lady. But, you know what I mean? You ain't getting that one by me. No.
Or embarrassing to be seen with in public, that's fat phobic. But to insist your preference is for people who aren't lazy, sloppy, and disgusting and unhealthy.
Up here at Clinton,
Meaning that means
real nice
you prefer
Vietnam
skinny people because
wall.
all fat people are those other things.
Yeah, they do.
That's
We were at the
actually
lights up there one day.
bigoted.
Well, no.
Was you with me out there?
Yeah.
Not really. There's another way to look at this. Of course there is. Perspective. How do you want to see it? So let me flip the coin over. Birds of a feather flock together. Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. You ever hear those? Can be true a lot. Here's what we have seen. That the fat person's going to pull the other person down. The person in shape's not going to pull the other person up. More often than not, that's what happens. Taco Tuesday, only live once! And people find ways to put the calories in their body. Not people, me. I do this too. I have struggled with my weight every day since I came out the womb. Every single day I've struggled with it. Up, down, constantly. I gotta stay vigilant on what I eat, otherwise I balloon up really fast. It's just kind of how it goes. Here's what I can tell you though. When I'm feeling sorry for myself, or when I'm being lazy, when I'm not doing what I should be doing, when I am a little gross, that's when my waistline is bigger. When I'm doing what I should be doing, when I'm eating right, when I'm sleeping right, when I'm working out right, when I'm working hard, when I'm doing what I should be doing, that waistline's in control there. There's also another reason why fat phobia isn't a huge problem in this country. We'll get to that here in a second. I'm going to lean on a little Bill Maher here. Can we stop putting the word phobic at the end of everything? Nobody's afraid of you. Absolutely nobody.
That's good shit.
They think it's funny, or they feel bad for you. You're fat phobic. Nobody's afraid of you. Stop trying to position everybody as living in fear of you. Look how much power you want. That's a power grab move right there. Those checkmate phrases. Let's get in there. Because if you oppose me now, you are fat phobic. See, I already set up the entire conversation that way by suggesting it early on in the audio. So if you then push back against me, Stansbury's one of those. He's one of those.
That's actually deciding that one group is all the same because of how they look. Hope that makes sense. Have a good day.
Well, it didn't.
She wasn't really talking to him.
I want to make sure I give you a somewhat accurate. So we're going to do this live on the air right now. How many U.S. adults are obese? Hey, would you look at that? Roughly 2 out of 3 U.S. adults are overweight or obese. 69%, honey. Fat phobia is not a problem facing America today. Not if 69% of them are obese, it ain't. By the way, a lot of people are coupled up out there. You've been in Walmart. They find one another, baby.
Been in that one a time.
Like that's a thing. Can we stop pretending everything is the biggest problem in your life? Your problem is that you can't drive past Golden Corral without pulling in.
Yeah, we had to call a cop.
I am not your problem. You are your problem.
Nice.
And yes,
Nice in front of the
are
kids
people
too, huh?
looking at their dating partners visually
I don't know
first?
if she witnessed
Of course.
that or she was
Looks don't matter. What you need is BS. You're never going to find out about the personality until you find somebody that you think is attractive enough to listen to for 10 minutes. Don't lie.
Hit that girl and she was crying.
Don't lie. Now, what you think is attractive may not line up with what I think in all of this. You know how many times I talk about how beautiful the woman is, and then
Way to get shot.
it's all right. I just feel like killing her. Like, dude, she makes my life so goddamn hard. But like, and then people see her, they're like, oh, dude, I don't know, this dude's nuts. Most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So what I think is that, and what you think is that, are going to be different things, and that's fine. I have also said this, and I am right about it. This is the one area of your life where you're allowed to be as judgmental as you want. You don't want to sleep with an Asian? Don't. Don't want to sleep with an African American? Don't. Don't find yourself attracted to white people? Then don't do it. Don't do it. 69% of Americans are obese. Everybody talks universal health care a lot. Everybody talks about health care costs a lot. Everybody talks about what leads into that. That, baby, right there leads into that. And it's also why a lot of people don't necessarily want to pay for their medical. Sorry, but that is a halfway decent viewpoint. And at least a good enough conversation to get us started about how we have the conversation to where we reduce this number by half or more. Because we all know we should, myself included. Yes, do men want to date and have sex with beautiful women?
You didn't bring
yeah,
bullets
you
for
caught
my
us in our
gun, did
evil
you?
plan to have fun while we're alive.
I'd be able to get that through, huh?
9 a.m. is New Church Tuesday. Also, I'll rock the bank with you.
Don't have bullets in
Get
it.
that $1,000 passed out. We have been talking about fat phobia because of this lady.
If you do not date fat people because you just happen to view
I'd like out and get in federal prison.
particularly
Those are
attracted
pretty
to it,
nice.
fine.
Yeah, let's
That's
not
the
do that on
preference.
this trip.
If you don't date fat
I'll
people
give it
because
my
you
best
think
shot,
fat
Jake.
means
Honest.
that they are gross,
Wow.
lazy, live an unhealthy
Yeah, we're gonna fly
lifestyle.
through some nasty weather.
It is unhealthy, though.
Hopefully they can get up above it.
Like, that's not me
They always
thinking it.
do.
That's the reality of it.
That's awesome.
That's
too,
the
is it's
truth
storming
of
down
it.
here and they get up.
I don't know
above
why
it all.
people have to be delusional in order to fit you into their life. Like, why do we have to just adopt this whole
What's
new
that?
way of thinking just because you don't want to run on the treadmill a couple of days a week? Are you gym phobic? Are you broccoli phobic?
A little bit.
You don't like when I play your game, huh? You don't like that, huh?
Or
I
embarrassing
found out with the meals I got, if you put enough butter and salt and
But
pepper
to
on it, it's
insist, your
edible.
preference is for
Even
people who
squash.
aren't lazy, sloppy, and disgusting
I do not like
enough.
squash. The way Nicole
Meaning
likes squash
that
and
means you
zucchini.
prefer
She
skinny people
makes
because
me
all
boil
fat
it for about
people are
40
those
minutes
other
till it's
things.
floppy.
That's
It is so
actually
gross.
bigoted. That's
put it in the
actually
strainer, and it's just
Be careful.
What is
here.
that?
Like, we gotta
wash
be
the
careful.
zucchini
These
out,
words
boil it
have
for
to
about
mean
half an hour,
things.
40 minutes.
They just
Otherwise,
eat
they
it
mean
boiled?
Huh?
They eat it boiled?
Or the kids love it boiled.
deciding
That's,
that
they
one
want it
group is all the same
gross
because of
and
how they
floppy.
look.
I like mine
Hope that makes
fried.
sense. Have a good day.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't eat it at all anymore. But
So she says if
when I
you
make it
just
for them,
view
they love
fat
it.
as being neutral
Damn, zucchini are pretty good if you slice them
and
nice
you're just not
thin and
attracted to it, that's fine.
flour them and
But if you
breadcrumb
think
them and fry
being
'em.
fat is
No, I just
gross,
slice them, throw them in the pan, and boil it for about
That's
half
you
hour
being
until
big.
they're soft as
That makes me want to fucking puke.
you know I don't
gross.
get to
It's so
decide what
gross.
I think is gross, right?
Gross. Everybody says it's gross.
You don't. Not really.
Cool, and the kids eat it.
Ooh.
Taste this, I love it. Ugh, oh, I hate
And
that.
the shit they fucking don't eat.
You think your taste buds got together and we're like, all right, this is the thing. These people like orange juice, and we're tired of these orange juice people. So we're going to take them down a peg by telling them we don't like it. Like, that's, I mean, what do people think is happening?
Of course, they're boiled in them meals.
You think I woke up one day, or anybody, let's not make it me because this really isn't me, but let's, you think people woke up and were like, all right, I don't have enough going on. You know what? I'm just going to start hating fat people and thinking it's gross out of nowhere. That doesn't happen. The same reasons I can look at a person and think they're attractive and not be able to tell you what about it is. Yes, I can list the body parts, but why am I attracted to that? I don't know.
Because you got dick.
And it's going to
I'll
be the
tell
same
you.
thing when you're talking about what you don't find attractive. A little easier to maybe be like, well, dude, I gotta tell you, I don't like this. And I gotta tell you, man, I mean, it doesn't bother me she's fat, but the fact that she has to wipe her forehead off when we're walking into Walmart because she's glistening because she can't walk because she's fat, that part's kind of annoying. Like, right? That part's got, dude, you're like sweaty and clammy all the time because walking to the car makes you sweat. Like, ain't that gross, right? Like, sweat's not lovely. You don't decide these things.
They're working. Be hurt.
My guess is if you don't think something's attractive, it's because you don't think it's appealing. I don't know if that's the same thing as
Usually
thinking
how
it's
it works.
gross.
I'm not scared of a fat girl, but I don't want to date them
But-
anymore. Been there.
Again, you
they're
don't
fun to
pick.
ride once in a while.
You know how I know?
Stuff was okay.
Because TikTok is full of people telling me they didn't pick what they were attracted to. They don't pick who they love, and it's not a lifestyle choice.
Yeah,
It's this,
she
it's
had
that.
gastric bypass and stuff.
Oh,
Third
okay.
husband, I think, second or third husband.
I
So
didn't
you don't pick any of that stuff. I just have to deal. But I went out of my way to be bigoted about the size of a person I'm dating.
Apparently, this is their on lane.
Explain it to me.
I've never seen that.
Like I'm 5 years old now. Come on now.
Give a fuck if you ever see another one.
That's
do
right,
you,
you
huh?
No.
And again,
And by the way,
two-thirds of people I think we found out, 69%, one out of every three people. All right, hold on. Overweight or obese is 69%. I'm glad we double checked. And 1 out of 3 are obese, 36%. That makes more sense that 40% of people would be obese, not 70. That makes way more sense. Overweight is a different thing. Most of us, when we call ourselves fat or I'm obese or I'm a whale, really what we are is overweight. Although I think if you looked at the morbidly obese charts and how fast you can get there, I think people would be a little shocked by that. But if this many people, 70% are overweight and 40%, or just about 36%, are obese, then fat phobia is not real. We can't have this many people having this thing and have the hatred of it be real. Like, that's not a thing. Like, that's not a thing. Like, come on. Come on. Also, thinking that you should move around a little more isn't the same thing as thinking that you're gross. Stop. Why is everybody
That's what Nikki Glaser said
obsessed
about
with
Jeff
finding
Ross.
their
Oh, Jeff
struggle
Ross,
and overcoming?
congratulations on your weight loss. Nice to find
And
out it
why
wasn't
is
the
that
weight
struggle?
was
Why
making
are you trying to
gross.
overcome it on a social media application? Why aren't you trying to overcome it with a trainer at the gym, in the vegetable aisle? Again, I'll ask, are you broccoli phobic? Are you exercise phobic? The game's not so fun when you do it that way, is it? I have a thyroid. Maybe you do.
Maybe you do.
And that does make it hard for people to lose weight. It does. For sure it does. Here's what you don't have. The one body impossible to make smaller than it sits today. I mean, good Lord. Hit that staple easy button and go get Ozempic. I mean, literally, do people look like a completely different person in 3 days? Phil Mickelson lost like 100 pounds. It was like, Holmes, this clearly wasn't about pushing the kettlebell around. Like, there's never been an easier way. Dude, that is a Staples easy button to get thin. The excuses are long gone now. Like, they literally are. We know what the exercises are. We know what the calories are. We know, I mean, dude, the science is all there. That's all on the internet, too. This reminds me of that woman who was complaining that companies aren't, like, inclusive enough of fat travelers.
Damn.
And one of the examples she gave
Look at that shit.
was
That
the
is a
hallways
fucking
weren't big
mess.
Yeah.
Sweetheart, if you're scraping the walls walking down the hallway, there is nothing Marriott can do for you. There is nothing that can be done for you. By the way, that woman criticized everything about the travel industry. Airline seats, she criticized the restaurants at the hotels, the hallway sizes, the shower size. But you know what that woman never gave you a review of or never told you was good enough? The gym at the hotel. You know why? Because she's never seen the inside of one.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games, and you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba
Probably
life.
twice your size.
They could actually stop being fucking greedy and make it a little
This
more
is
roomy
one of those weird
in them
ones
planes
where
like they
I
used
always
to.
felt
Yeah.
like
Where you're dead wrong. But again, you're young.
Instead, they're gonna pack
You will
you in
do a
there like
video when
fucking
you're my age
sardines.
later, talking about your dead parents and how you wished you would have treated them better while they were alive and taken more of those life lessons while they were alive versus now that they're gone and you can't go to them. Dean, I need to know. I don't know what to do. I'm stuck here. I need a little guidance, brother. I wish you were still here. If you're looking to avoid any of that, treat your parents better today. Right? Yes. Now, of course, we all know that. We've grown a little, not all of us. Some of you are this age, but I don't even think the bulk of people who listen to me in this age range would view their parents this way. I don't want to go crazy about the college campus thing, but this is where your kids are learning to hate you. Are you enjoying spending $400,000 for them to hate you and
off
their
that
country?
fucking
Isn't that just so fun?
speaking about this behavior
I coughed.
negatively
I
could
gotta
be
shit
perceived
now.
in the wrong way.
No, it's you are wrong. Your parents loving you, supporting you, is a huge leg up.
I forgot
In
I
this
wanted to grab my freaking gum
In this world.
too. I love that specific gum.
But I'm
That is
suspicious
good.
that
I
you
keep
don't want to
fuck
view
out
it
of
that
that.
way because
It
then
just
we would
has a
have to
really
start
good
talking
flavor,
about
and
what?
it's crispy when you first bite
Your
it. Too.
privilege,
I love that
maybe?
gum. And it's
Coming
spicy
from a
gum.
two-parent household, being driven to and from practices and the like? Is it maybe that you don't want to talk about what your privilege may be? And so now instead of that, everybody now just wants to be a member of the
Oh, you gotta
struggle
see
so
mine.
bad
I don't know what
that we
the
do
fuck
the mental
happened, but-
gymnastic thing to work ourselves
I know
into
what
how
mine
we
is.
had it
I've been
bad.
lotioning
Like
the
my
shit out
parent
of
was just
everything
being
so I don't
supportive,
peel.
and how lucky was I to have a
Clogging
parent who
everything
always
up.
showed
Yeah.
up. Boo-hoo,
My
your
pores are
parent was
probably
there for
screaming
you.
'cause it's freaking
But did you also
so much
feel
lotion
like
on.
sometimes it was a bit
Surprised I haven't
excessive,
gotten any big ones
especially
on my
if
face.
it was a bit more of a repetitive
Luckily.
thing where maybe I was doing the same thing on multiple
Trying to see
days
if
in a
I
row?
can
Like,
kill
you do
Gorbachev
not
look.
have to
I
attend
say that
every
to some of
one.
these
And
kids and they have no
Okay.
clue what the fuck I'm talking
Excessive.
about. I'm dating myself.
Oh, really? Big time.
I don't believe that it
The
is.
girl at the counter the other day.
I also think
laughed.
she's only viewing
She
this
was
from
younger.
her standpoint, not her parents. They grow fast, man.
Yeah, I saw a story on
Real
TV
fast.
the other day. Can't even keep out of Ozempic
Blink
on the
and you're
shelf.
missing.
They can't. It was for
People are right. about it.
literally for diabetics.
Diabetes,
Once
that's what
they
I
So
thought.
found out
your
that you
parents,
could lose
instead of
weight,
being,
that is, they
dads in the
knew
70s who had to work
over-admitted
and,
to taking it.
drink at the
Every
bar before
celebrity's
going home and, like,
taking it.
avoiding their wife, they
They
actually
can't
want to
keep
be a
it
part
on
of
the
their kid's
shelves.
life.
But what does that do to your sugar then?
They want to be
I
there
have
for
no
you.
clue, but I know that
You know, just
much
one.
like I
they
just
found
talked
out
about
they
the
could
regret
take
you're
a
going to have
shot
later on in
and
life,
literally
what
lose
they
that
don't want to
weight.
do is
You
get
don't
to the
need
end of their life and
gastric
realize,
bypass, any of
I
that
didn't
shit.
see my kids grow up.
I've heard
I missed
if you go on that though, you can't stop.
Right.
You're only 8 for a
That
year.
is the one thing I have heard.
You're only 9 for a year.
My therapist is on it,
You can't put it back in the tube, dude.
getting all this freaking
So they wanna
plastic
be a part
surgery
of it.
done and pulled Had her
And your
face
life
done
has been
last
so
time I saw her.
easy. She's literally in a
Really?
white
I said, "You
picket
sure you
fenced
wanna meet
backyard
up?"
as
She
she's
said,
recording
"Yeah,
this
my
video.
eyes are dilated.
Your life has
good
been
and everything's
so
good."
easy
She
that
shut
you
up.
actually think
She
you were
looked
going through history.
surprised. I said, she goes,
Absolutely
"So look
laughable.
bad?" I'm like,
Again, you're young. You will think better
"No,
of this
you
down
just
the
look
road.
shocked to see me."
No need to criticize you. There's no need to call you
Did you
bad
say that?
names,
She
bad
goes,
this,
"No."
bad that.
It's only a week later. They said it'll settle down. I'm like, okay.
Let's hope so. If I don't look like a dick, I don't know what it is. Don't
There's no need to
care.
do it,
Looks like
but
a
you
dick.
are absolutely going to think differently about this one.
What makes this lean more towards the negative, in my opinion, in terms
It
of
makes a
behavior,
lot of money every
is that
day.
if I ever didn't
What's that?
want them
That
to
dick
show
makes
up
a lot
to
of money
every
every
single
day.
show
Oh,
or
yeah.
something, that was
I
considered
thought
to
you was
be
talking to me.
disrespectful.
Well, maybe it
That's
was.
the
What was
part.
motivating
Can't
you
even
not
give it
wanting to
away.
I guess that Timu or Temu.
Is it the
as they
thought maybe
pronounce
you
it
would
during the
fail in
Super
front of
Bowls,
them?
Not a hurt on them, but they're
Nobody cares
putting a
less
dent
about
in
you
their
failing in
business.
front of them than you.
starting to get a little ground. But
Now, I
feel like
said
Temu
that, and I
or
was
Timu
raised
or
by
whatever
decent people, and
is
I
gonna
realize
have
not
like
everybody.
the Alibaba or whatever.
I notice
never
it all
really
the time
took
when I
off
talk to
fully.
people, friends, other people, and this and that.
It's all the same.
I had it pretty good.
Imported shit from China.
All of it is.
That's why
Said
it
it a
takes so
million
long to
times. My
get to
parents
you.
didn't
The
tell
only
me
good
they
thing about
were. They showed
Amazon
me.
is now everything's on there. I
And
needed
that-
cat litter the other day. They're out of it at Walmart.
In
the
that
kind I
little
use.
thing
I ordered it on Amazon,
is
had it the next day.
all
Right.
the
Anything I need. I needed
Every bit of it
mouthwash. Didn't feel
is
like going to
right
the
there.
store.
Yeah.
Ordered it on
It
Amazon.
was
I had
on
it the next
It
day.
was very much that taking me out of school for
I
lunch,
already went
sort
to the
of
store
picking me
twice
up
that
and
day. I'm
dropping
like,
me off
fuck, I forgot
everywhere I went.
mouthwash.
Energy where
Got
on the
on Amazon,
surface
clicked
it seems
twice,
very
probably paid
convenient,
double for
very
it, but-
thoughtful even, but it's a pattern of control.
It's just
and
like the
behavior.
dogs. Every
Your
fucking
parents are
time
supposed
I
to be in
leave,
control, you dumbass.
I gotta go back in because I
That is
forgot
their
this, I
job.
forgot that.
So much
They
so
just
that
fucking
when
look
they're
at me
not,
like
we
I'm
actually send a
fucking
government
stupid.
agency to the house to come get
Again?
you when they don't take
Well,
care of you.
Jack, what'd you forget this time, dumbass?
That's pretty much the look they got, yeah. Come on, Dad, you can do it once. Damn.
We were having a doggy orgy.
Hold
before
on.
you
So
came
the
back.
entire crux of the argument is that your
Oh,
parents
poor
put you in the car and
Gigi,
drove you
she's
back and forth to
fucking
practice in your sports every
can't
day.
eat.
And
God, she's
then
on them.
through that,
She'll
they
never
denied
sit right
you
on her
the
fucking
opportunity
face.
to build relationships outside of your
Wow.
family unit.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously. You're not even listening to yourself. Not everything in your life
We're
is
gonna be
about
out of
you.
town for Mother's Day. They're gonna freaking send.
I remember we had this conversation differently once about graduation.
well, I never heard anything about burying her
And a
ashes.
kid had
neither,
denied
so I
their
guess
parents
I'm
the right
safe
to come
there.
to see them graduate. And I said, oh my
Oh,
God,
yeah, that's
you were
right.
going to
He wanted
regret
to come
this
in
when you
town
get
and do
older.
that at this time. If he couldn't afford to come for
And a
her
young
death,
woman
he
wrote in and she's
certainly
like, oh,
can't
wait a
afford
minute,
to
blah,
come
blah, blah,
for
I'm
that.
graduating this
Well,
summer
his
and I didn't
girlfriend's
invite my
about
parents.
an
And we,
ugly
you know, my
bitch.
dad and I have been estranged and this and that.
Jeez.
I said,
Something.
okay, well, in any one particular
Trade
instance,
Amanda for that.
Yeah.
Amanda's
But
a good looking girl.
graduation's
She's a little
not
bigger,
about
but
you.
man, she's a good looking girl.
Let's smack that big old
They
ass.
made a
Graduation
couple
is about
beautiful
your
children.
Yeah, they did.
because
I
they
don't know
took
what it
you
is
to all
about
those
boys, and I
practices.
love
They
Anderson.
took you to
Teenage
all those
boys almost
games.
smack
They
the shit
paid
out
for
of
the
us and their
cleats.
son.
They paid for travel baseball. And they went to bed
Teenage
every
boys
night
blow
praying.
away
But why
that
is
you
that?
came home safe every night in the world you live in. Graduation is about them seeing the end result of your work.
Nicole's like, you're
And
gonna
celebrating
be a teenage
you.
boy someday. I said, well, hopefully I don't want to throat punch him. every
Looking at
fucking day.
you
Every other
on the
kid, I
way
wanna
to
drop
becoming
kick
who
in
it
the
is you're
fucking
going to
face.
be.
God, they're assholes.
For 25 years, we had to turn around,
A
all
lot
right,
of
man,
girls
kind of
are
have to
too.
make some excuses
Nicole and I
over
are
here. A
talking
person
about
didn't have a
Aubrey's
person to
always
drive them
pissed
back
off.
and
She's
forth to
so
practice.
little
And
and
look at
dainty.
everything they overcame.
I'm like,
And that was the
it's 'cause
struggle,
we
and
don't
people
feed
were
you
right
all the
about it.
growth hormone shit that the other families
We
are
complain
probably
so
feeding these kids.
often
You
every
look on
day
that
that having
stage
two
last night,
parents
there
who
weren't a
love
lot
you,
of
who
girls
take
that
you
looked
places,
sixth grade.
is
A lot of them
now
look like
a
they're in ninth
problem.
fucking grade.
That
Yeah.
that's narcissism.
And Aubrey looks
No,
like
sweetheart.
a sixth grader. She looks
The
like a fucking
narcissism
12-year-old.
It's you.
Older, you're fine. You don't need a treatment.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that some of them girls
Again
are
at 10
12
a.m.,
years
another
old.
$1,000 keyword.
Some of the boys in her grade are
opportunities
huge.
Yeah.
But that next one at 10 a.m. A little sneak peek ahead at tomorrow. 9 a.m. is New Turn
That's what
Tuesday.
Nicole and I were
have not
talking about.
done a
I'm like, you
lot
know what
of
it is?
investigating
Stupid growth
myself yet,
hormones
but
they have in a
we'll
lot of the
do,
foods.
We'll thank Tony
Them
from
poor
down the
kids
hall
ought
at
to get
WKBE,
some.
who just came down here, knocked on the door, and
Aubrey
said, said, you're aware of what you have available.
Tiny. It's like our
And I thought for sure he was
talking
talking about the Kiss cover. There's an artist,
Baby,
Youngblood,
he's
is
like,
covered
"You
a
guys have
Kiss song
mirrors?"
for
Got
Fall
what?
Guy.
mirrors.
Oh,
And I was like,
neither
yeah,
one of you
I
are
saw it. I was like, I purposely didn't listen to it all. I kind of want to do a live reaction to it all. I heard, the first little bit of it. He said, no.
Whenever we had to mark down our shits and pisses.
There's
if it
brand new
splatters, what do we do there?
New Kids on the Block.
That in the medical industry. So we
Oh,
consider
okay.
it
Well,
sharp.
yeah, that's going to happen. Yes. That is happening.
Yeah, that's
so
what I
Kids
did out in
Cover,
the
little,
driveway.
New Kids on the Block, or whatever
Shirts.
else we may be able to find.
Go through that body scanner.
We
they're gonna
will
see it
also
in
be
your drawers.
rocking it with you for the first
My
time.
drawer. No, I didn't make it that
What you
far.
and I
just
had
a little.
most recently been
Mr.
talking about was this.
Am I the
Please
only
spread
one
your
whose
legs.
narcissistic parent would show up?
No, you don't want me to do that. No.
Like you have an obstruction.
I don't know how that makes them
Not
narcissistic.
anymore.
If they're in the
Now
stands
it's on the
making it
floor.
about them,
Yeah.
making themselves a spectacle,
Spread
then
your
you
legs,
could maybe
claw.
get
Good, it wasn't a gun.
Thanks, Nick.
If it's simply about the fact that they were coming to be a part of
Clean
it.
it
It
up.
was a turd.
Now you can pick it up.
This is one of those weird
Yeah,
ones
man.
where
I tried to help.
Where you're wrong. You mean like one of those?
Got a restroom close where you take off my underwear.
Were you with me? It was you in the
Because
bathroom
it
with me
is
that time.
wrong.
That guy had his pants all the way down.
Your
and he
parents
washed
loving
himself
you
up in the bathroom on the way
isn't-
back from Dover or something.
Yeah,
Bad.
fuck
He was
that.
having trouble.
Again, I just watched the
He
other
was not
over the
having a
I think
good
it was
day.
last
Taking a
week.
whore bath.
I
Boys
don't
and
know. He was moaning and groaning. I think he should.
And Lawrence Fishburne is raising Trey.
was not good.
Well,
in
fucking,
that
we
movie, he
stopped
says
at
to
that
us,
one
he's like,
rest
I know
stop.
you
My
think
guy
I'm being
taking
hard on you,
piss,
but
some
I'm
guy
not.
in sweatpants just comes in.
I'm trying to give you the
Drops
good way to
them
live. I'm trying
motherfuckers
show
to his
you,
ankles.
how to be
And
responsible.
stood there and piss. I'm
Like a
like,
Look at
child.
your friends across the street. They don't have
What
anybody to be
the
doing that for
Got
them.
no
so
underwear
they're
or not,
done,
you
and
know,
you're going to
that's
see
what I
how they
want to
turn
see.
out, too.
Anderson does that shit. And
That's
I'm
like-
eh.
Like when you're young and you think your
Finally
parents
thought
are just
Anderson,
out to
you can just
stifle
pull
you
down
or
below
hurt
your
you or
ball
like,
sack,
you
buddy.
won't let me go to the party. And it's boundaries.
just make sure your dick's out further than your
Yeah,
pants.
you're getting a little old
What
for
feels
the
like your
pants
parents
and the
being
ankles
mean to
thing
you
there,
when you're
buddy.
10.
Well, that guy was very,
You're
very
50.
old to be doing it. That's
just
like,
thinking,
I'm
wow.
like, ah! Look down, look down, look
Just
down.
being supportive and how
Look
lucky
at that
was I to
scarred
have a
from
parent who
life.
always showed up.
You were lucky. Some people are left
feel
literally
pretty
on the
fucking
doorstep
good
at the fire department, you
this hour of
dumbass.
the day.
Who your parent was there for you. But did you also
Yeah, I'm
feel
getting
like
Chinese
sometimes it was a bit excessive, especially if
I'm
it was a
back to the
bit more of
resting
a repetitive
position.
thing
Why?
where maybe I was doing the same thing on multiple days in a row? Like, you do not
That's funny.
God forbid
We
your
was at
mom
our
come to 3
neighbor's house
basketball
the other
games in the
night,
same
still
week.
sneaking
have to
past the
attend
joint.
everyone. And
Fuck,
what makes
it's
this
legal,
lean
but
more towards the negative.
We've
in
been
my
hiding
opinion,
it
in
for
terms
so
of
long,
behavior,
it ain't been
was
legal
that
long
if
enough to
I
make
ever
me
didn't
feel
want
real.
them to show up to every single showing of
Mormon.
something, that was
Amy
considered to
Van
be
Meter asked
disrespectful.
about you all the
Okay,
time whenever I'm
other
in
than
their bed.
being embarrassed
How are
by
you
who
doing
your
there,
parents
shit?
are
Sorry, I
and
don't
like
know.
not wanting your mom to be at the bus stop with you or whatever the
Oh.
hell the thing is, outside of that, I cannot, not that there isn't one,
Didn't she work
I
down the
can't come
Roadhouse?
up with a reason why
I
you
don't
wouldn't
know.
want your parents.
I always thought Amy Van Meter
Unless
was the
they're
one
the
that had
embarrassing
kinda-
parent who fist fought another parent, yelling at the kid,
offense,
"Put
her
my
teeth
kid!"
were a little more
Like, if you're
jacked
doing-
up and
okay,
she
then I can maybe
had a
understand
rough
like, dude, my
voice and
parents are
kinda
idiots,
loud,
and I don't want them anywhere near.
When she
And
said
see,
she
this
was-
Yeah,
is
that was her.
because like my opinions are based on my experiences,
isn't her,
much
though.
like your
It's a
opinions are
different
based
Amy
on
Van
your
Meter.
experiences. I had pretty
She
good parents.
remembered me, I just don't remember her.
The best? No.
I remember a different Amy Van Meter.
You know what I mean? A touchy neighbor got by the
See
goalie.
Patty Moore.
You know what I mean? So like the
God,
best
she
parents
looks
ever?
fucking terrible.
Apparently
Is
not.
that right?
Apparently not.
Yeah.
Pretty damn good,
Too much coke.
right? And they loved me and they cared for me and they showed me.
Amongst other things.
They didn't just tell me, they showed me.
Is that right?
I don't understand. How could this be bad that
It's
they're there?
fucking rough.
It was very much that taking me out of school for lunch, sort of picking me up and dropping me off everywhere I went.
I tried to talk to her at
Energy
one
where,
time. She
on the
kind of like
surface,
she
it
didn't
seems
know
very
me or something.
convenient,
Not on the surface. That is convenient.
Yeah,
That is
she,
convenient.
she
very
referenced one
thoughtful
call.
even, but it's a pattern of controlling behavior, I think.
She
for
looks a lot
narcissistic
older than
parents
she is.
Is that how you view your Uber driver?
Yeah.
Their narcissism is what's making them take you somewhere? Is that how you view that?
prevented me from practicing independence and developing relationships
That's probably a better
outside
picture.
of my immediate family.
That is one of the dumbest opinions I've ever heard in my entire life. Your parents were literally driving you to take part in sports, drama, whatever the hell the thing is, where you are going to communicate and build relationships with other people outside of your family structure that you would have not been able to do had they told you we're not driving. Now, this is a young person
Funny, Jake.
who, when they're my age, will think completely different about all of this. Welcome to life. I don't want to go overboard here, man, because at 19,
Wonder if ever
you couldn't tell
landed
me
a
nothing.
plane because somebody shit in the bathroom
And I mean,
stinks.
nothing. Bro, at 27, you
like
could
the old
barely tell me.
Bluebird again.
That Twister sequel.
And had I had YouTube and had I had this,
Really?
Yeah, it looks good.
would I have maybe been one of those
The
people
old
who was
one
coming from a great situation? Was like,
been
let me
out for
tell
a
you
while,
how
ain't it?
impressive parents are.
Mid
Right?
90s with
Maybe.
Helen Hunt and Bill
Yeah.
Paxton. He's dead.
Maybe. My parents and I did not always
was a
get
great
along
movie.
at the level it sounds
It
like
was.
we did.
Cow.
We walked on
Had that
eggshells. around.
camera, ouch, like that on. Ouch.
And I saw that man
son
work
of a
very
bitch.
hard
And it was just fucking
for his family.
nuts.
All the cars and shit
His
flipping
car.
around. And
Fuck. It
Even
leveled
now,
that
if we sit
fucking
around and tell
place.
stories,
Everybody
the first
lived
half hour is
luckily,
like,
but
remember
it
that?
leveled
Oh,
that.
They
fifth grade
leveled
didn't make us walk home.
buildings.
Remember that?
It's
Like, do all
unbelievable.
kinds of, like, do all kinds of stuff. And then that should start going on. Yeah, but remember when he was there for that?
Yeah,
Remember when
that'd
he
be
taught us
nasty
that?
shit.
Yeah.
Remember how lucky we were to have that? Having parents who love you, who support you, is a major
You think
leg
they
up
have
in this
endure
world.
cross at a different place, huh?
People take it for granted because you assume
Yeah.
everybody has it, but they don't. You ever date people and think to yourself, why do you think this is okay to do inside of this relationship? It's because those people were raised by alcoholic wolves, bro, and they didn't have a good role model for this.
You
That's
got it.
why. You ever wonder, like, dude,
Oh,
how
we're
can you
already
not
at
get this
40.
together? It's
Yeah.
because they didn't have the
No,
blueprint
we're
in
at
it.
Rockside Road already.
That's how.
Yeah, that's my.
Now,
That's
plenty of
my.
people overcome their
hangout.
surroundings and go on to do great things, and yes, those people exist too.
That Top Golf is
A lot
up
of you
here.
think what this is
have a
this
gift
person's
card
just
from
trying to
last
go
Father's Day. I
viral,
gotta
saying the
get up
most
here.
obscene thing, or
Rent a
you know,
bay and
outlandish thing, what we call
get
engagement farming.
Dinner for the kids
And I
all of
think
us
you would have to at
appetizers
least
and
bring
hit
some
golf
of that
balls.
into it. I think that's why she's wearing. You can't see this, but she's wearing like an old vintage Nirvana hoodie, and like, you know, but she's got. She very
All
much has
these
that
kids
look
wear
of.
Nirvana and all the 90s
You know how
dance
teenagers
studies.
have that look where if your kid has it, it's fine, but when the neighbor kid has it, you want to punch him in the mouth? That's what she looks like. Like, my kid's allowed to look like this, your kid looks like that, and I want to punch every kid who looks like that, not name mine, right? Yes, that's what she looks like. She looks like, as soon as you see her in the video, you're like, oh, I'm about to get lectured by this idiot. Welcome back to the Stansbury Show. Teresa's going to rock the bank with you again at 10 a.m., give you another $1,000 keyword. We'll pass those out all day.
Yeah, Holiday Inn down there, spent a night
We've
or
been
two.
talking about this young woman who feels like her parents driving her back to practice and going to all her games was about their narcissism versus
That one will be probably the
their
least
love
nice
or,
hotel we stay in.
being
It's not
convenient
bad
in
as a
life. She says,
casino.
well, on the
It's just
surface it's convenient.
old school
but, there's
Vegas.
narcissism underneath it all.
cheap.
And there's a little perspective thing here.
Well,
How do
yeah.
you see stuff?
For there,
How do you
huh?
want to
Yeah.
see it? But in the reality, we all know that this is either
But
engagement
right on
farming
Fremont
or
Street
something
there,
she is
so-
going to regret later in
The
life.
D is at the end of
Um,
Fremont too. That's the good one.
When you lose
I
a
haven't
parent,
stayed there, but I assume it's nicer.
there's just a light that kind of goes out. Like holidays are never the
nicer,
same.
mine are
Everything
two
just kind
different
of different.
Yeah.
Unless you have kids of your own,
It's
and
not
Christmas
rockets
becomes
on the
about
shower
that.
curtain.
And God bless you.
Yeah.
Boarded up fucking windows.
I'll never forget that place we stayed at there.
But one of the things
Touched
that
her and it
happens
was fucking
is you spend a lot of your time
Yeah.
thinking about the things you said to them.
My
that
bachelor
you
party.
wish
Yeah.
you wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, and my mom has told me plenty, oh, Dan, parents don't think about that. Trust me, your dad doesn't. You know what I mean? He wouldn't have cared. And it was one of those things we understand.
I
We
laughed
were
the
kids
fucking
too,
whole
and you
night
kind of
about
know.
that.
But, like, you do it. And so, as a person who has demonized social media as much as I have, and too often I do it, I would admit this. I'm happy that the things I
You
said
gotta
to
go
my
to
parents,
Snow
I only
Road,
have to think of.
Ben?
They're not documented.
Oh, that's the IX center.
I don't have video.
Well, it is kind of that region, but this takes you off.
I think that is going to, the amount of regret I think
Yes,
that's coming down
takes
the
you
road.
right up to the departure.
I think it's going to be pretty nice.
There'll be
We
like
talked
two
about that.
lanes, one's for departures and
We
one's
also
for
talked about driving
arrivals.
the semis as Aurora
Mind if I
Innovation
leave a cup in your
out of, I
drawer?
believe, Pittsburgh. says they'll have more driverless semis hitting the
There'll be
road by
trash
the end of
cans
this
there
year.
if you're
They said
done.
3 to 4 years. Look for them to dominate. I think they're starting
just
the
wanna
routes
leave this
between Dallas and
fucking car.
Houston, if memory serves. We were talking about that this week. So we kind of, we talked about that.
Get
Talked
the
a little
full Uber
parenting issue there.
experience.
Talked a little Tom Brady roast as well.
At least that'd be nice. I'll put my
One of
snot
the big
right
takeaways I
inside.
have from last night. I don't
Well,
think
that'll
enough
be a
people want to talk
$200
about it, so I want to be
cleaning
one who is. You hear this all the time.
I see where this is going. I'll take my fucking cup, all right?
The dumbest things I've ever heard in my
Jake
life.
says they have trash cans.
What did you
Again,
say they
one of the
fucked
first-
up with Uber, that where you don't want to do Uber
Like
or Lyft
variety
anymore?
shows to hit the air with
Oh.
Barry White.
They can,
Lucille Ball was known
well,
as a world-class comedian.
the one time I got held up at fucking
The
gunpoint,
Carol Burnett Show,
That's another
For
thing.
crying
See,
out
and they sent,
The Golden Girls, Tina
then,
Fey.
whenever I
names just
ended
go
the fucking
on
ride,
and on and on. Mary Tyler Moore and Rhoda.
and they sent a
I mean,
complaint,
Mona on Who's the Boss.
and I had to send them,
the
I had
amount
to
of
send them the
female
fucking
comedy
video,
that's been in and around
from my
our
dash
lives
cam
everywhere.
of the whole incident.
Now, female stand-ups, I will tell you, there are times where I'm like, I don't know if I love
Because,
that. But like, there are
you
plenty of
know,
male stand-ups that I think about.
They're gonna
Yeah,
believe
with
their
them
money
too.
source rather than the fucking
Nikki Glaser.
driver.
Right.
You know?
It's weird with comedy because she's big in the comedy circle. She's
gives you a
like
nice warm
nobody
feeling,
in the
doesn't
entertainment
it?
circle,
How
right?
much
then
they
I had
care
a-
about you.
Yeah,
and
then I
I'm
had
not
a
looking to down her because I'm putting her on my
girl
back
I
and
picked
carrying her
up,
around all
fucking-
day because I feel
as soon as she got in the car, she just sat
He
there
was
and looked all pale and
weird.
shit, bent
The
over and
best performer.
puked all over the back of the fucking
Honey
car.
Munch Cliff was okay. He was pretty
Just
good.
sat there in it.
He was, and I
I'm
expected
like,
that.
get out of the car!
Bill Tony's a good pot, all that thing, all that stuff's great.
Hey, you.
Nikki
I'm
Glaser.
trying.
so note to self: if you drive
Women
an
are
Uber, carry
absolute.
pockets.
It was like 2 weeks
I
before I
hate
could actually drive again on that.
As a matter of fact, most of the
Took out
women I've
long
ever
to get the
dated in my
fucking
life,
stink out of the
one of the
car.
reasons why I was spending time with them is
Yeah,
because they
that's
made me
Yeah.
laugh.
A special.
And I enjoyed that. I don't understand where men came up with this that women aren't funny thing. I
Another
don't know
gummy.
from where you
And then
decided that was the
whenever I
thing
blew
and
the
thought you were
motor
right
up,
about it. The examples of
I
you
was
being
like, okay,
wrong
that's
about it
enough.
are literally everywhere around you. If you missed any of those conversations, I would urge you to pick up the podcast shortly. That is hosted at WU.
I mean, I did it a couple times after I got this car,
Live again
but,
until tomorrow. Stay safe out there.
Wasn't
Be good to
anything.
one another. Do in
I mean,
fact meet me here tomorrow morning
I
at 6
drove
a.m.
4
for
hours and
Tuesday's
made,
program
like,
on Rock
150
Hopefully
bucks.
you have a great afternoon, and
Wasn't
hopefully I
anything
run
to
into
keep
you
me
somewhere
going with
around
it,
town.
though.
Hello, it is
Cleveland
Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day
Machinery
playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked
That's where
over
we
the
get our-
person
used to
sitting
get our
next to me,
machines.
and you know what they were
I don't know
doing?
if they still
They were
do.
also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free
Yeah, that guy
anytime,
made those
anywhere,
plaques
even
for
at
me.
30,000 feet. So
He
sign
wrecked
up
the
now.
machine the other day,
ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free
$50,000
welcome bonus.
damage.
That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Wow. Where was this?
Where I work.
They fucked the machine up and did $50,000 damage.
A little bit of this money could give
Yeah.
me a little bit more of my free time.
It's
Absolutely.
okay, he can afford it. I've seen his house.
Time's precious. You can't really buy it. I mean, at the end of your life,
I
guess
just
you could
wanna
pay for
kick
it,
him in the
whatever
balls
the,
every time I
chemo
see
or whatever
it.
is to stay alive a little bit. But like at the end of the day, you're not
That's a
really. Time is
motherfucking
kind of hard to
man.
get more back. So I understand why if you don't have any free time, why people view that as like a winning lottery ticket. Totally.
I'm sure they got a million bucks.
I have the
in it.
opposite. That I have so much of my time free to myself that when it gets taken away, I'm almost petulant
She's
about
a
it. Versus
fucking-
like, all right, this is the one.
She's
day I have.
really, really, really nice to me.
Because of how much.
I shouldn't say anything.
What makes you
She's,
feel wealthy? They kind of wanted to take a look
kind
at
of a
this.
step
They say for
above
most
us.
Americans, it's
Yeah.
not all that much about the bank account. It's some
She
of it.
work.
But 63% said that they would feel wealthy if they have enough time to
She
spend
got
with family and friends.
5 ignorant motherfucking
Nearly
kids.
1/3
And
feel
they're-
comfortable
that one's
taking
out
on
of
debt if it
fucking
buys them
hand.
more
She's
free
got
time
something
or a
wrong with her.
memorable experience. Well, I think experiences
They all
are
got
worth
big
money for
heads
sure.
like fucking Sean.
More so now. I was a
fucking
product-obsessed person when I was younger. I think this is an age thing. The older I get, give me the experience. The vacation is worth
He's
money.
giving us
As a guy who just spent
these
$1,200
cards
on
every
himself
year
on the
with
other
his
day, that does not
family's
necessarily
picture on it.
feel
We take
like
him home and draw
worth the money,
mustaches on the little fuckers.
where we can air quote that. I did get into my phone. Brandon works for Apple. Heard me
Keep
having
an eye
some
on
issues
the fun.
yesterday. Was able to help me out.
I
Thank
don't
you,
give a
Brandon. I
fuck.
appreciate you, buddy. But yeah, I could see. I would take on debt to go on a
Yeah,
good
my
vacation.
favorite to hear was
And
always,
I'll
well, that's
call,
somebody's daughter or
I don't know,
granddaughter.
credit card debt
Ain't
as
my
debt. I
fucking
don't really- I
daughter or
think I owe
granddaughter. I'm
$500
checking it out.
But would I spend a couple $1,000s on my credit card to take, some people on a trip and have a good time? Of course, absolutely. So retirement. Almost half of Americans feel that they're running out of time for retirement. Well, you are. I mean, you're
These
losing
shorts
time every
hike up a little bit more
Every day
than
you
I
don't
like.
save for retirement, you are
Put
losing.
my balls
There's no
don't
debate.
fall out the bottom.
44% said that they started putting money away early enough. However, that's an interesting point. I did not, probably. I started matching my 401k years ago. When I started this job, I did. I have since changed the percentages and have increased those because I am in a different financial situation, having been on the other side of 10 years being gainfully employed versus just starting. They say here the average 401k balance is $291,000. And for people in their 50s approaching retirement age, it actually jumps up to $580,000. And again, that's according to Empower Personal Dashboard data. In this, and maybe you had missed it earlier in the conversation about it, we were kind of talking about how people are apathetic financially, like won't pay their bills even though they have the money to do so. I had my hand raised there. I used to be that kind of guy. I have a 401k through my employer, and they do a very good job of, contributing to it with us. This is where my money apathy is. I could not, for all the money I have, tell you what's in it. That's one of those financial things I have that I never really look at. I know what's in my savings. I can tell you to the dollar amount what's in my checking. I know what's in my investment portfolios. I know what's in my crypto accounts. I know what's in my investment. I know all of that. For some reason, the 401k is like, it's tied to my work, and I kind of hate that place, so I'm not looking.
Yeah,
it's kind of one of those things that kind of happens.
God, she's hot.
There.
Who's that?
But it looks like people are looking for more free time than they are money. And if you've been listening to the show for years, first, thank you for that. I appreciate it. But you may have heard this back in the day. I had said once upon a time when I signed one of my contracts here, I think I'm on my 5th now, something like that, 4th or 5th deal now here. When I signed one of my contracts,
here's what I hate on the fucking bike.
They said to me, well, we understand there's a compensation issue here. We're looking to increase you from here to here. And one of the other things we're willing to do is give you more vacation days, more personal days. There, I'm viewed as lazy. They don't think my job is hard. So if I'm not there, it looks like I don't care. I'm phoning it in. And if I got good out here and do this, you can't even sit in there and talk to me while I'm doing this. I was like, I think I'm losing. And then if I'm losing in that regard, so is the radio station. And they were kind of like shoulder shrug about it, like, this is the new model. And I remember I said the next week when we were talking about it on the air, I said, if my company's doing this, look for yours to be doing it too. Because they have the days on the calendar. They have the hours in the calendar. What they don't want to give you is any of their money. They don't necessarily want to be doing that. So if this is what you're looking for, more time away from work, and you would give up some money to get it, I think you will be getting that. I know for sure you're going to get some money from me, or at least the opportunity at it. As I'm passing out the $1,000 rock to make keyword to start the final hour.
Until you get up above the clouds.
Right.
Another opportunity. Rock that bank with a $1,000 keyword at 10 a.m. with Teresa. Stick around, check her out. I ran across this the other day at alphamail.com.
Getting us
I
ballet.
added that site to my bookmarks because I make fun of the whole.
I'm a drop and go.
Drop and fucking go.
Oh, I literally trash my girlfriend.
Thanks, Ben.
On the air.
Fuck out.
Don't forget that money.
Never say a cross word.
Oh, okay.
Start
Thanks.
that argument in front of her, dude. Ever.
Okay.
You would never do what I do in here.
We're Frontier
You would protect
Airlines.
yourself
I don't
at
know
all
if there's a
times
sign
while
for
doing
that.
that. Me, screw it. She's gonna be pissed. Who cares? But yet, you live in fear of the lady. You know what? Here's what I'll tell you. Have fun in your man cave she let you have in her house. Keep calling me a beta douche. Anyway, but I found this there. And apparently these are what men want as fantasy. And I'm not sure I buy it. Some of them, yes. Not all of them will.
Gate 2.
Threesome and group sex, obviously the big one here. The appeal for threesomes seems to be rooted in a couple of different desires they claim. Obviously, the desire to emulate what you see in pornography, and again, we've had this conversation plenty of times. So many people are watching it. Almost too much of it is available to you. And so it's skewing what we think sexual encounters should look and sound like. And I would imagine that this is true. Also, they say the threesome thing, it comes down to the desire to be physically overwhelmed, having 4 hands touching you or 2 mouths kissing you. Now, I would agree that more mouths on you at one particular time could be pleasant. I think that's, as a matter of fact, I know that could be pleasant. It's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. This is not necessarily what I want in my life today. If I were single running around and one of them should happen to fall in my lap, I think I would probably do it. It's not necessarily something I want to do with like a wife, right? That's just not necessarily what I want. I don't think it's necessarily bad to do it with your wife. It's just not what I would want, right? Also, they say here, it comes down to the desire to be desired by multiple partners and relish in that power. Of course, especially when you talk men, sex is about ego, right? You want to feel like you're the most powerful man while having sex. You want to believe you have the largest penis of any man she's ever slept with. You don't, right? You want to believe you're probably the best lover she's ever had. You're probably not. And like, that's just how that goes. Right? But I, of course, could believe that those are the reasons why people would like the idea of threesomes for sure. Also, I'll add a third one here. Most people who are in committed relationships are never going to have one. It's the grass is greener, look over the fence, what did I miss out on? Right? There's a little bit of that's baked into that as well. Apparently, one of the other fantasies men have a lot, this would not be my thing at all, but BDSM. They say men are more likely to fantasize about tying someone up. Women are more likely to fantasize about being tied up. That's an interesting examination there. I'm not necessarily anti-tying, as I own a product called No Bedpost, No Problem. And you slide it underneath the mattress there, and then you have restraints. That can be fun. That can be a lot of fun, as a matter of fact. So the tying up I'm okay with. Once you start getting into the further kink of it and like the whips and the chains and all this stuff, I don't want to be hurt in sex at all. That is the fastest way to get me to lose an erection, is to bring pain into the bedroom. It's not necessarily my thing. I also personally don't want a woman who needs to be like knocked around in bed. I had a woman once who like wanted to be slapped real hard. Actually yelled at me for not slapping her hard enough, and I was like, all right. It was like a casual drunken hookup, and I was like, where are my clothes? Time to go. It's just not my thing. You know what I mean? Again, I don't think you're evil for it. It's just not what I want, right? Talking male fantasies here, sex outdoors and sex in a public place. Again, you're not supposed to be doing it, a little bit like a threesome, so yes, there's always going to be interest there. In fact, they say here 66% of men and 58% of women have fantasized about having sex in a public place. 82% of both men and women have fantasized about having sex in an unusual place. They list car, here, or office. I don't think either one of those are all that unusual. When I first got in the radio business, it was like a bucket list thing. I have to have sex in the studio. I did. I had to have sexual activity going on while the microphone was actually turned on. I did. I kind of did all that kind of early on in my career. A lot of that kind of stuff happened. As a matter of fact, we were talking about it live when one of those was happening. I'll take things that you could never do today for 1,000, Alex. And that's true. Like that totally went down. I could see that. I don't think a car is unusual at all. Sex in a public place would not be part of what I do today at all, because again, I'm going to get in trouble for it. The radio station and all of it and everything else, and they would literally throw me out. So again, I think a lot of people feel like that is what would happen to them, and so there's interest in what you're not supposed to be doing. Masturbation. 71% of both men and women have fantasized about being masturbated or watching their partner masturbate. Both of those things are pleasant. I would agree. I like both of those things. Sex is a visual medium. It can be, right? And so watching that at the other end of the bed, it's like, all right, and you're starting to run. Okay, look out, here we go. Right? There's a little bit of that for sure. Have no problem believing that. This is where I jump off the train. Forced sexual acts, rape fantasy. A study of undergraduates found that 62% of women have had a rape fantasy, and 54% of men had fantasized about this before. Quote, we derive pleasure from the feelings of submission, victimization, and aggressive desire. Rape fantasies are not an indication of real life desire. The mind is simply a safe space from which to explore our edgy thoughts. Huh, that's interesting, because we don't say that about anything else we have going on in our brain. If you're thinking it, you want it. If we're thinking it, you mean it. If you think it, you obviously are that person. I wonder why sex is different in there. Is it because sex is fun and it feels good and we want to be able to let ourselves off the hook for everything we're doing? Yeah, sounds about right. This is why we can fantasize, they say, and become aroused by a thought, but not seek out the fulfillment of a sex act that causes harm to ourselves or others. Okay, what about people who think or fantasize sex with a 13?